Hi, everybody. My name is Kevin White. Welcome to Vibrant Vienna. And today we're talking with Joanne McGinley. She's the owner and founder of Grassroots Fitness. And with that, I'm just going to let Joanne take it away and tell us a little bit about Grassroots. She's been in business for 10 years.
10 years, yeah. Hey,
And
Kevin, thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for coming and joining us
Yeah.
and talking to us about Grassroots.
Sure.
So 10 years in Vienna.
Yes, in
Okay.
Vienna. So, okay, I'll give you the backstory. I'm actually the co-founder of Grassroots Fitness because years ago, I met my friend Francine. I've known her for years, actually through my husband who went to college with her. And she was big into fitness. And at the time when all this started, we were both stay-at-home moms. And she's like, I want to start this business. I've got, we can start teaching people. And I was like, I don't know. I have two small kids. I don't know if I can get into this right now. We literally were teaching in our backyard for a year. The same group of women came back. We added more, and then we started teaching at the Lakevale Community Center because they had space available. And
Where on Maple Avenue is it?
well, we're right next to the Chick-fil-A, right across from a whole bunch of new fun things are happening over here. The Wawa is going to open on the corner, so we're right on the corner of Nutley and Maple Avenue.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, they're doing some changes on that block as we speak.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things happening over here. A lot of new construction. Going to be a whole different area on this end of Vienna. It's going to be fun to see what happens over here. Yeah.
So what are all the types of fitness that you teach?
Oh gosh, this is part of kind of my philosophy and how I used to work out all the time at a gym, and I loved mixing up my workouts. One, because I always knew that one, it gets boring. Two, I just love to do different things to challenge myself. So I knew going in, I wanted to offer different types of classes because it really helps injury prevention more than anything. I was just like, you've got to mix up your workouts because over the years or just anytime, the more you mix it up and you don't do the same kind of exercise, the better chance you have of not getting injured. So we offer now boot camp hit. So we have high intensity, what I call the high intensity, which is the boot camp, the hit, the shred, the cardio strength training. Okay. Then we bring it down, low impact bar. We have yoga, we have body fusion. One of the best things I just started teaching in the last year and a half, maybe 2 years now, it's called hips and abs. And I am really I think that's so important because it's a whole different way of different modalities of opening up your hips and stretching out your hip hamstrings. So a lot of people really enjoy that, especially a lot of runners who run all the time. They don't take the time or they're not cross training. And if they do, they like to add this class in. And then I added the abs part in it too. So you do all the hip openers, the hamstring, and then you do abs at the end. So it's a lot of fun. And so we offer, gosh, I think it's 10 different types of classes. And I also teach teenagers. I do sports conditioning for middle school and high school athletes, which is a lot of fun too.
A lot of sports tend to, you don't really get that with a lot of the sports. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it really depends on what you're doing. But, in these fitness classes now, really, I talk about it all the time. Having a strong core, oh my gosh, is so important for everything you do.
How long have you personally lived in Vienna?
Okay, so we moved to Vienna in 2006. So my husband and I, he actually grew up in this area, and he went to forget the name of the high school, but it's close. Mantua is where he grew up, and he met, and then we lived over in Fairfax, Annandale area, and then we moved here in 2006. So our kids have been here we've been here for almost 20 years, not quite yet, but.
Got it. So your kids grew up all in Vienna?
Yeah, they've grown up here.
Yeah.
They've gone to elementary school, middle school, and now they're both in high school at Madison.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Yeah.
So where are you from originally?
I grew up in West Virginia. So I grew up on a farm in West Virginia. It's about an hour and 45 minutes from here. My parents still have the farm. And so completely different than, living here in Vienna. Yeah, I still like to go visit them. Wide open space. It's lovely up there, but I do like Vienna in Virginia. I was a total farm girl. What do you think? Milking. I did. No, when we were younger, my dad was what we call a gentleman farmer. He wanted to be a full-time farmer, but couldn't afford to be a farmer with a family of four kids and six. But so he had his own business. But yeah, he was a gentleman farmer. Oh, they still have. We had a big garden, animals. You know, I took care of. I did all that, which is so funny now because I have no desire to do any of that anymore. And my kids, of course, I'm that typical parent that says to them, like, you know, what I did, what I had to do when I was your age. Oh, they love that. That goes over
That's
so
funny.
well.
Yeah, yeah.
But they can never, like my son says, you never compete, Mom. You grow up on a farm. How, you know, we're not going to do anything close to what you were doing when you were in high school. I said, I know, but it's kind of fun. Yeah.
That's cool. So how did you get started in fitness?
Well, I've always enjoyed being active. Like I was an athlete and all the way up through high school, and I enjoyed being playing in sports. And then the funniest story is when I was in college, I just, you know, I was like that typical college person. Well, I don't want to say typical. You know, I didn't want to exercise when I was in college. I got out of high school. I was just doing my own thing, enjoying life in college. And then I decided I wanted to teach group fitness classes. So that was my first foray into group fitness classes in college. I got my group certification, but this was back in the day when it was all about aerobics. You had to come up with your songs, the moves, everything to the choreographing. So that I was not good at. It did not go well at all because I was like, oh man, this is not for me. And so I was like, this is way too much work. I'm not creative enough to come up with the music and the moves. And that was the thing back then. So
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm just going to stick to taking the group fitness classes. But I always really enjoyed being active in fitness and everything. So then I decided later, I was working full time, but I said, you know what, I'll become a personal trainer because in my heart, I love being with people, encouraging them, motivating them. That's really what I have always wanted to do. And that's what I think I'm, you know, good at. So I was like, I'm going to be a personal trainer. And I did that for a couple of years. And then I had children and then that stopped until Francine kind of brought that up when my kids were getting ready to start elementary school. Like, let's get into group fitness. And I love group fitness training. I really do. And it's all about, like, you know, it's like most people say in fitness at studios, you want the community, right? That's what draws you in. It draws you in being with people you know, your friends. You like to get together and talk about what's going on in your life. You see the same people a lot of times. And that's really what it was about. That's why we started that whole boot camp, that bikini boot camp, because it was our friends. And they're looking to get together with us. We all like to exercise. They just needed somebody to say, like, if you lead us, we'll come. And then we just took it on. And from there, you know, that's how we kind of got started. And that's how the business took off. And it's really something I love. And I love to teach. I love to encourage people. I love to help motivate them and help them learn. Like, you know, I'm always telling people, like, you're stronger than you think you are. And it's true. I mean, and I think group fitness classes are so important to have that instructor there who's going to push you enough, but not too much, but let you know, like, you know what, you can do this and you are strong enough to get there and I will help you get there. You know, and that's kind of what I've always enjoyed doing. And I love the community aspect of small, you know, studios. And that's why I wanted a studio where we could offer all those different classes and different modalities and get people together. I think what you're doing is fantastic. And it's very much what I try to do as a business owner. And here in Vienna, which I like, is bringing people together, but also helping promote other people, like how other businesses, like how can we do things that will draw attention to other people and how can we partner up together and stuff like that. And I think what you're doing is fantastic. I mean, I was like, oh, look, this guy, Kevin, he's come out and he's like talking about the businesses here in Vienna. And then it's drawing attention that people don't know they're here. I mean, there's so many different small businesses here. It's great that you're doing this and taking it out there. So I was like, yeah, of course I'm going to encourage you. You're like, come on, let's do this together. You know, I'd love to talk to you and talk. And of course, I know that, you know, so many of those small business owners here in Vienna too. It's a small community. I'm part of the Vienna Business Association. So, and I'm also in a small group of women business owners, and we try to help each other out too, and you know, promote each other and partner up. I do that a lot. Like, who can I partner up with? What can I do to help you talk about who you are and what you're doing?
You're there in the studio, and I'm seeing some cool equipment. Did you want to walk us through any of the stuff, or is this just backdrop.
Sure. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny because now I'm set up. I'm doing all online classes now, of course, right? So I've been doing that. I started that early, the 1st of March, maybe the 2nd of March, because I wanted to be able to, at the beginning, even before we were told we needed to close our studios, give the option to my clients or members that didn't feel comfortable still coming in, but they wanted to still be able to work out. So I've been doing that for a while. So it's funny because I've got some things. I have my coffee table here. I serve coffee. We have coffee afterwards, but it's usually outside. So it's now where I put my tripod to when I teach. So it's completely different setup, but why not take a look at it? So I actually have given out a lot of my equipment because my members are at home, and now and I don't know, a lot of people, they sold out of weights. So a lot of people couldn't get them online, even if they wanted to. So I've been giving out all my current members. They have gotten a lot of the equipment to take home with them. But I have stuff here. So this is I'll show you. So this is, here we're looking around. I have mirrors all over the place. We have a bar. We teach bar over here. And then I have all this, what I call the functional fitness area here, because a lot of my equipment is tucked away, right? I have places where I store it. I have places where I store it downstairs too. But we do all kinds of things here from these are our power ropes. I don't know if you can see them up here, power ropes.
Yep.
And that's more for like boot camp, the high intensity. I have a lot of times my kids do that, my training when we do the cardio strength training. I mean, what am I trying to say? It's the explosive sports conditioning. That's what they use that for. And these are all box jumps. We jump on these all the time. Like we have different levels.
The ropes, you lay them out, and that's where you kind of do this deal.
Yeah. So I keep them up there, and then they're attached down here. And then these we use for box jumps. That's like explosive jumping here. Oh, yeah. I've got the hurdles. We've got all kinds of kettlebells. We've got different kinds of balls. We got jump ropes. I don't know if you can see all this stuff.
Wow.
So yeah, we got a lot of stuff. And then all of our weights are over here. Bozus are big. These are Bozus.
Oh, yeah.
We have smaller weights. This is where I would keep the bigger weights over here. Yeah. And then downstairs, I have big medicine balls and stuff like that. So we can do a lot of different types of classes here in the studio, which makes it a lot of fun. That's why I was talking about how we like to do different modalities and mix it up, because I like to have all that equipment. And we also go outside. See, a lot of my members like to go outside. So we do boot camp outside, we do cardio strength training, and we do shred outside. So that also, now that it's getting warmer, it's harder to find space now, but of course, because we don't want to gather, you can't gather a lot of people and you want to keep your social distancing. So for years, I mean, that's where we started, right? That's our origins. We started outside in our backyard. So we do workouts outside a lot too. And probably we'll get more into that now with less people, of course, but spread way out. And with boot camp, you do a lot of stations, but we won't be doing that because I'm on camera now. So most people are working out from home. So you have to do it in a small space now, like everybody's working out from home. And so you really have to mix it up as an instructor now, how you do it differently if you're versus in the studio or being outside. It's so different. Yeah.
That's really cool that you're like already solutioning and thinking of ways like, okay, how do we make this work?
Yeah.
I guess you have to, right? There's no choice.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you gotta come up with, you gotta move with it as a business owner, like how do we work it out so that we can still bring what we want to bring to our members who are used to this, but in a completely different situation the way it is now. And everybody, of course, is trying to adapt, and you have adapted or it's not going to work,
So the outdoor piece, is it just outside the studio?
No, we meet in different places. So I kind of mixed it up where we meet. We do have a parking lot here. Sometimes we meet where there's more grassy area. So it's just really, if it's raining, I want to meet in the parking lot. And this is, by the way, I should say, early morning. Okay. So this is the early morning, 5:45 a.m. classes. This is not the 9 o'clock classes when people are out, working and traffic's coming through and everything like that. So we can work out in the parking lot and then set up stations and do stuff like that outside. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you do running as well?
Well, I don't know if you know Caboose Brewing Company, right? So I started
Yeah.
with them. We started the Trails and Ales. That was part of what we do every Monday night at Caboose Running Caboose. So that was another kind of area. Like I approached Caboose and said, like, hey, why don't we do this run? I would be happy to lead it every Monday night. And gosh, I think that was four. It was 4 years this past November we started doing that, and that's really been very successful and a great thing for the community. And people come in, and then DC Capital Striders came in as part of that, so they help promote that. And then we just show up. It's really taken off on its own. I do less of the leading now than I used to, but I was there every Monday night. It didn't matter if it. The only time we didn't do it if it was like so much snow or ice, and that was rare. So we did a lot of running, and that's a big part of the Vienna community here is the running community. You talked to the MRTT ladies from this town. I've been a big part of that. I love that organization. I love those ladies. They really got me into running. I didn't even really like to run that much back, in the day. I still would much rather do group fitness classes, to be honest with you. But it's all about, just like they said, it's finding that community finding people that will keep you accountable. And that's really what Moms for This Town is. And that's the same thing with the Trails and Ales at Caboose Tavern, because you see the same people there. They love to run. That's who they are. They like to talk about running. They like to run. They like to have beer afterwards. It's a social time, right? So, and people will show up just because they're like, I love that part of it, because we've had so many people come into Vienna, and I always go like, okay, I make new people tell us their name, how they found out about us. And then because we always have we gather before we run. And then I'm like, okay, so, and they'll be like, well, I like to run. I'm trying to meet new people. I'm here. I've just moved here to Vienna, or I moved to Tyson's Corner. So I want to meet people. And I saw that it's a brewery. Of course, who wouldn't like that, right? I'm at a brewery and I can run. This is awesome. And you're like my people. You're my people. You're running with me. You like to drink beer. So that was, that's a great way. I found that I've met so many different people, and just from all walks of life through that run on Monday night.
You're making me want to go. So how do I sign up if I want to go? I promised so many people so many things. I promised Krista has a Marine, working with her. So I got to do a Sunday. What's today? Tomorrow. I got to meet with Patty and do cycling. And so Monday night, I got to run. So how do I have to sign up, or do I just show up?
No, well, here's the good thing. Now, two good things is so you have a little time, because now we're not meeting up, because it's, because of coronavirus. So we're not, Caboose is now closed. And I think they're doing takeout, but we don't want to meet as a group. Now, I hope soon we can start doing more distance running. Socially distanced running. But we really wanted to cut that at the beginning, 4 or 5 weeks ago. We wanted to stop doing that, because we didn't want to encourage people to run. But when it starts up again, which I'm hoping it won't be that much longer, we have a Facebook page. It's called Trails and Ales, and you can sign up there. You literally just show up, and then anybody can show up. And also DC Capital Striders, they have a meetup. So it's always on there so people can search it and find it, but you just show up, and people are welcoming. And like I said, the worst thing we do is make you say your name and say how you found out about us. Then we'll give you a break, and you sign up saying I'm here. And
cool.
It's very low key. Nobody makes you run. You can run or walk. People just want to just show up and have a beer, right? Or they show up after the run and then have a beer. So we're not pushy. We're just hey, if you want to run, and then it's all distances too. People do anywhere from, some people might want to just do a mile. Some people go out for 8 miles and come back, but they start earlier. We just want everybody there we have our group picture, we have announcements. A lot of times we have stuff going on. We try to do things as a group, or just people will say hey, I'm getting ready to run this race, or I'm doing this race. A lot of people are into, that's what they do. They run, and also they like to do races, but not everybody is like that. There's a casual runner. I used to be a big runner, I love to race. I don't do races. I haven't done races in a couple of years. The only thing I like to do now is the run amok. I still like to do a run, those And I'm
Tough
trying to get back
Mudder or
into that.
whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to come up, Tough
Yeah,
Mudder and stuff like that.
yeah, yeah,
That was a
yeah.
while ago. We used to do that as
Yeah,
Grassroots Fitness members. We did that as a group. In fact, something just came
awesome.
up on Facebook. It was 8 years ago, our first one. And I was like, oh my
Wow,
gosh,
that's
it's been
awesome.
8 years. And we had a whole group that did that together. And then, so I got to get back and do that again. But my point is that there's a lot of people from all walks of life. Some of them love to race. Some of them are
Yeah,
marathoners, ultra marathoners. And then there's just a casual runner, right?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
really cool. Like, I mean, Vienna has. I mean, I've met you. You're doing this. The CrossFit. Mike Corcoran,
Right.
Krista Chichester is doing the spin
Mm-hmm.
studio, and then you've got Moms Run This Town, which is
Right.
the group, and then you got She Runs This Town, and you got Dads Run This Town.
Yeah. And
So
Dads Run This Town was an offshoot from Moms Run This Town.
right,
Like,
right,
because their husbands were their wives were part of the Moms Run the Town. They're like, let's start Dads Run the Town. I thought it was awesome. Yeah.
exactly. So it's there. I mean, there's really no excuse, right?
Yeah, I mean, this
Um,
is the most active community around. I mean, I'm sure there's other places, but here in Vienna,
of course.
you're a runner. You want to join any kind of different studio, you've got it here. And then a lot of them, it's like I said, it's more social and it's a community to help you and encourage you. Especially, I just think that's what works, right? That's what works
Yeah,
here at Grassroots Fitness, that works at Cycle Chi or at CrossFit or whatever. It's all about the community and coming together and finding your people, right? What
yeah,
works for
yeah.
you? What are you looking for?
Right.
What kind of exercise? So I always tell people, it's like there's going to be a place that you're going to find that you like.
Yeah. So speaking of partnering and people, you and Krista at Cycle Cheese, speaking of Krista,
Yeah.
are talking about kind of partnering up and delivering meals with Social Burger and Sandwich Shop and doing a fit-a-thon. And tell me about that. How's that work? Because I don't even know. Like, you mentioned it to me, and I want to promote it. So how does that
Yeah.
work?
Well, the Fit-a-thon was actually Krista's idea. We talked about this with Chris at Source Core. Last year, she kind of said, like, we should do something where we're all working. Like, this was before the pandemic hit, and we were going to go to our different studios and do different classes with the community. We were trying to brainstorm how we can do this together to help promote all of our small studios. But then that kind of got forgotten. And then Krista brought this up, and I was like, oh, yeah, this is fantastic. So, what a great idea. We're going to do it through Zoom, and we're all going to offer different types of fitness classes. And it's like, starting at 8 in the morning all the way through 4 o'clock. And then we're going to have a virtual happy hour at the end. So what we're going to do is our members or anyone, this is open to the community, can sign up for any number of classes, whatever classes you want. But we're asking that you donate towards, you go either to Sandwich Shop or Social Burger on their website, and then you buy a meal that then they make to be given to like first responders, or I know they're now doing shelters because I just delivered to the shelter in Falls Church. So
Awesome.
that's how what we're doing. We're putting it out there, offering the classes, and we're asking the community to take these classes and then donate a meal for every class or whatever you want to do, towards
Cool.
that, to help promote them, help Social Burger, help Sandwich Shop, and then also what they're doing, which is so fantastic, which is helping the first responders and shelters and all the various other places they're doing. So that's part of like the whole thing, like we all want to do, like helping promote other small businesses, what they're doing, how can we all do it together? And I thought it was a great idea. And
Totally.
it also helps, the other small independently owned small businesses here in Vienna, and especially the, boutique fitness studios, which is what we all are.
So the message is, help how you can, but I think this is, even as things begin to open up and quote unquote normalize, whatever normal is,
Right.
It'll still be really imperative for people to continue to help each other, because it's going to be economically, it's going to be a little rough for a while for people to get back on their feet. And so this is just one thing though that we can do.
Right. I totally agree with you. I do think it's going to be a completely different normal, and we're all going to have to figure out what that means. I mean,
Yeah.
as in our community and as small business owners. What does this mean? How are we going to go forward, right? And then what can we do to continue to help each other and help our community?
Yeah. It'll work out. I know it will.
It'll work out. I do. I truly believe that it'll work out
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
It's encouraging to see and hear you talking about, like, okay, thinking through, right, how am I gonna continue? How am I gonna, serve the people that because businesses serve, it is a service.
Right.
It's something that you're doing for other people. I mean, it's a value exchange and people are paying for it. It's not free, but it's still something that you are, you're having to come up with ideas on how to overcome the challenges that we're facing. So thank you.
And I think that's thank you. Well, you're welcome. I think it's awesome. I think part of what I was trying to say is there's different areas that are going to be less affected than others, right? And I think restaurants are a huge one where they're going to be affected more than another type of business, right? Because I don't have to have people come into my studio. I can continue to offer online classes, even though it's a different experience. It's not ideal. It is something where it's harder if you have a restaurant where people always come in. And then the way that a lot of these restaurants are helping the community, and then the community is going like, you know what, I want to help you. I'm going to help either by purchasing food from you directly for my family, or I'm going to donate so then you can make food and then help other people. And I think that's just a fantastic way. And that you like the Vienna Foodies group and Lydia who started that. I mean, what a fantastic thing to do.
Yeah.
So I think that, and then it just gets the word out more. Like, who can we help? How can we help? What can we do? So, oh my gosh, I have a friend who owns French Press Printing, and her idea, Sarah, and her idea was to come up with a T-shirt that she was selling that had different small businesses on the back, and then people could purchase the T-shirt or add in donations to help these communities. And again, it's another small business entrepreneur who's deciding like, what do I offer that then I can offer somebody else to help? And I was like, so, I just bought a mask from a young high schooler, right? And she's making masks. And I was just like, I'm going to help promote you. Not only you are an entrepreneur, but you're also thinking of ways that you can actually help other people. And, I thought that was fantastic. So it's like, I'm always thinking like, what can we do together and then get the word out there so people know this is happening? And gosh, there's just so much going on that you can do and figure it out, right?
Yeah. So do you want to mention the other instructors that work with you?
Yeah,
and
I have.
Talk about,
Oh, go ahead and talk about what?
I was just going to say, talk about what they do or if they offer different things or,
Yes. So I got a great team of instructors. I got a great team of instructors. The funniest thing is they are fantastic and been with me now 3 years. But both of them were injured right as this all started. So one had a skiing accident and had to have surgery, and the other one had an injury. And I was like, wow, it was great that they could recover. But also, I took on a lot more classes than I normally teach. So that's been a really good learning experience for me. But I'm very happy to have Andy, who teaches our cardio strength training, and Carrie, who's our yoga instructor. And then I recently hired Natalie, who has taken over my HIIT and bar classes. So she's fantastic too. So yeah, I'm happy. I love to have my team. I mean, the only downside, not only downside, but downside right now for me is that they're not teaching as much classes now during this whole pandemic, but I'm hoping that once they're fully recovered, they'll be back. So all you Grassroots Fitness members don't have to always look at me. You can see the other instructors.
Yeah. So, but you have people of all ages and young people, older people.
Well, let me tell you. So I would say our Grassroots Fitness members are anywhere from their 30s all the way up to, I have a lady in her early 70s. Yeah, so we just have a whole mix of men and women, mostly women, some men, but we do have a whole gamut from the 30s up to 70s. And my 70-year-old lady does bar. She's a runner. In fact, I always tell people, I was like, I've heard this before, like, I'm too old to start, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. And I was like, no, you can. This, my client, Mariana, I think she didn't even start until she was in her 60s, started running. Then she's done half
Wow.
marathons, she's done 10Ks, and but she also knows to cross train, right? I think that's what she's smart about. Like, not only I'm just not going to run, I'm going to learn. She wants to do bar where she's working all her major muscle groups, but small to large. You know, bar is a different kind of mentality, but it's all low impact, which is important. And so I always tell people, like, you can do any one of my classes. You have to do a different variation. So I show modifications or variations on every exercise I do. All my instructors do that. So no matter where you're coming from, whether you're an athlete who's been doing this for years, or you're somebody brand new coming off an injury, or you haven't worked out, you can do the exercises. You just have to know that you have to do a different variation than maybe another person's doing next to you, right? I think that's what's so important. And that's what I tell people all the time. See, don't be intimidated by these classes. Yes, some of them are going to be more challenging than others. And yes, you shouldn't come right off not working out for 2 years and do a HIIT class. That might not be the best option. But that's why you come in and you do body fusion, or you do our strength training class, where you can move at your pace using the weights that you want to use and that you are good for you. And so I just feel like, you know what, do any of those classes and we'll show you a variation that you can do, and that you're going to stay healthy and not get injured. As long as you pay attention, stay focused, you can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Bar, I've heard of it. Like, and I know what a ballet bar is. Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah. So bar is
Okay.
a different modality. It was based on ballerinas, right? And then what their exercise routine is, I would guess. But bar is just, there are studios that only do bar classes. So we wanted to offer bar as a different modality. Okay, so you could come in and you could do a bar class, but because this is the grassroots fitness member or warrior. We call each other grassroots fitness warriors. But the reason why I think what I like to do is, you could do HIIT one day and you can come in and do bar the next day, or yoga after that, or hips and abs, because that's what the majority of my members want. They're unlimited membership who wants to be able to do different types of classes every day, or however many days a week they want to exercise, right? They're not only doing boot camp, or they're not only doing strength training. They're going to do boot camp, bar, cardio strength training. They're going to do HIIT. Maybe they'll do yoga, or if they don't like yoga, I have clients who like, I don't know, a yoga person. So I offer body fusion, which is Tai Chi, yoga, and Pilates. One of my favorite classes to teach. And I was just like, so there are people who don't like, they're afraid of yoga, or I'm not a yogi. They don't want to do a full class of yoga, but they like the Tai Chi part of it and the Pilates with the yoga. So it's just a whole different modality. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Has that been your personal philosophy for working out?
Yeah, that is my philosophy. Like, from the very beginning, I was never a just one type of class. I wanted to do, because I enjoy so many types of classes. I like the high intensity interval training, but there's no way I would want to do that every day. Okay. Or even three or 4 days a week. Cause I was like, okay, it's great. I love it. But the next day, let me do boot camp, because boot camp is not the same as high intensity interval training. It might be similar. Like, you're going to get your heart rate up and you're going to do body weight exercises, but you're not going to have the same exact class. And the same thing with shred. And then body sculpting is one of my favorite, because we use dumbbells and bars and bands. And that's where I like to build muscle and get lean muscle. That's my body sculpting classes. And but then there's women who don't want to necessarily lift weights, or they do, but they're not looking to build. They want to do bar, because bars, we use 3-pound weights. Okay. And you're still using your muscles, but it's a different way of working out and using your muscles than it is if you want to pick up an 8, 10, 12-pound weight and do exercise.
Right. I did a Pilates class with some Pilates instructor, and she's like, don't let the lightweight fool you. Yeah. And when you're doing those different things that your body's not used to, it's a totally different experience.
It's a totally
different
go
experience. Yeah.
I have people all the time. I encourage you to take my bar class sometimes, but you've got a lot on your plate now, because you're talking to all these different people. But you've got time over the next year. But I will tell you that people, I think sometimes when you hear different things, or you expect, like, if you go into one place and take a particular kind of yoga class, it's going to be the same way at another studio. And it's really not. I mean, a lot of times it's based on the instructor. I mean, there's vinyasa yoga. If you hear that, that's going to be vinyasa yoga everywhere you go for the most part. But there's different types of yoga class or different bar isn't always the same wherever you teach it. So it's the idea, the premise is very similar, but there's different types of studios that do it different ways. So
Right.
that's what I would say. Like, never discount one kind of class thinking that you know what it is until you've given it a try, right? And see what you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. So can we talk about diet? What do you offer any of that kind of advice to your members as part of your business model? And if not, then what's your secret?
Well, here's the thing, and this is an interesting part of, and this is one thing that I want but haven't accomplished yet as part of a business owner for myself. So diet, and I totally agree with you, and I'm going to say not diet, the nutrition side of it is
Perfect.
so key, right?
Yeah.
And there's so many things out there. It's so confusing, and there's always the fads. And like I tell people, there's always some new thing that somebody promotes and thinks that's going to be the answer to everything that you've always wanted. And like for me personally, I've never actually, I took a nutrition course years ago and a certification, but I'm not a certified nutritionist. So I always feel like this is where I'm trying to bring people in, and I have done this before for Grassroots Fitness. I'll bring nutritionists in and they'll present something, and then I offer that to my clients because that's not my specialty. My specialty is more the fitness side of it, but I do know a lot about nutrition. So I can talk to a client about nutrition, but if you really want to sit down and get on a program, I would refer you to somebody who's a certified nutritionist or somebody who's doing that for a living. And I do have people that I work with for that. And I've offered workshops. I just recently talked to the members about fasting and intermittent fasting. That's another thing, right? People are talking about now more than ever.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Actually, I think if it works for your lifestyle, you could do intermittent fasting. And I mean, I've done it before. And basically what it means is you're just going a certain amount of time before you eat your next meal. Like, for instance, they say ideally 16 hours. Okay. So you stop eating at 6 in the, at night, and you don't eat again, right, until 16 hours later. You don't get up, as soon as you get up, you eat. And I don't do that anyway because I work out at 5:45 in the morning. Then I work out again. I might teach again at 7:45. Sometimes I don't eat breakfast until 10 o'clock. And it's not even breakfast. Sometimes I'll eat a salad because that's what I want to eat. It's not like I have to eat a breakfast because it's 10 in the morning. It's just kind of my way of eating. But I do agree with you, to make this shorter, the nutrition is so important, and especially as we get older, but even for teenagers. I've talked to parents have contacted me to talk to their teenagers because kids especially have no clue what to eat. And then a lot of parents don't really know. And it's confusing out there because you think you're being healthy. Like, for instance, I have a parent who told me, like, but my kid will drink 3 glasses of orange juice. I'm like, orange juice in itself is not is bad for you, but it has so much sugar and it goes right through you, right into your bloodstream. Your blood sugar goes up. I said it would be so much healthier to eat the orange. Forget the orange juice. Have the whole food, the fruit. So it's like things like that. Like, oh, like I didn't realize that drinking fruit juice, even though it's just orange juice. And I don't want to use the word bad because that's not bad. It's just not your best choice, right? There's a better choice.
Right.
And I think that's where, with our membership and what we talk about is how to make better choices than some of the choices. And what are some better choices that you can make instead of this? How about this? Instead of orange juice, how about the whole orange juice, right? So the apple juice, eat the apple. It's so much better for you than anything in its whole fruit, whole form, food form is going to be the healthier choice for you. So I don't know if I answered your question.
You did. No,
this
is great. Yeah.
I mean, I could go on and on about nutrition. I think you kind of asked me what I did. So what I do is it's a lifestyle, and you have to figure out what your lifestyle is. Remember, I've been doing this for years, and I do it for a living. That doesn't mean I'm perfect by any means. Far from it. I emotionally. I eat when I'm stressed. Sometimes I eat, when I'm emotional, but I try to be more aware of what I'm eating, and I try to really figure out what works for me. And over the years, I've kind of figured that out. And I still crave like sugar and salt sometimes, like my go-to, actually, I'll tell you the truth. When I'm like want comfort food, I want bread, and I want good bread and butter. Like not, yeah, I mean, I like that bakery good bread. Oh, I love the Harvest Bread Company.
Great
my,
Harvest, yeah.
yeah, my mom taught me how to make rolls, and I stopped making them except for special occasions because it would be like I would eat like 5 rolls with butter and homemade jam because that was like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I would rather have that than ice cream. So I think people like you got to know what your trigger foods are, and I try not to have them in my house that often because I know that I'll want to eat more than just like a normal good healthy amount. So I try to not bring what I call my trigger foods in, right? And everybody has, I'm sure, a trigger food or a type of trigger food. Mine is bread, good homemade warm bread. But so my point is like you just got to figure out what works for you, and then I would say talk to somebody, especially as we get older, because our metabolism does slow down, and we're not as active as we used to be. So things change in your body. Women have hormones that affect everything. So you have to talk to somebody and figure out what works. But in the end, it has to be a plan literally for you, Kevin. Like my plan won't necessarily work for you, right? So I feel like you can't just go on whatever Joanne McGinley is doing and it's going to be for you because you have a different lifestyle and you have different areas in your life that you want to do, or you might even have a whole different plan of where you want to go with your body versus what I'm doing with my body. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Absolutely. I think that's like rules for life and philosophy for life.
I think right now, I mean, so many people are at home, their whole schedules are off. It's like, how do I deal with this? You got, and people are trying to figure it out. And I won't be surprised if, people are coming out like, oh, I'm getting heavier. I'm not as lean as I am when I'm not during this. It's like, I'm the same way. I was like, there's some days I'm just like, oh, this is hard. I don't feel like eating that salad on all those vegetables. I'd rather have the bread and the whatever else, the ice cream and the cookies. That sounds better to me today. So, it's hard. And I always tell people, try not to give yourself grace. I mean, it's hard. I'm the biggest one sometimes hardest one on myself. And I have to learn that, you got to give yourself grace because it's a hard time right now. We're all kind of going through a really hard time. And some days are going to be worse and some days are going to be better. So you just try to get through them, right? And keep moving. That's what I say as a fitness instructor. The more you can move, the better. So that's the take home. Move, give yourself grace. You're going to be all right. We're all going to be all right.
Are there any other questions that I haven't asked or anything else you want to mention?
Well, I don't even know if it's going to mention, but I did want to say that, I do offer and have offered for years free fitness classes every summer on the Vienna Town Green through the Vienna Parks and Rec. So I don't know what's going to happen with that this year, but I hope that, that's just part of like who I am. I wanted to say it out there. Like that's what my whole business philosophy is like, again, putting it out there for the community. And that's part of what I wanted to offer as Grassroots Fitness is we offer yoga, all types of different classes every summer. We've done that for, I think this is our 4th or 5th summer. And this summer we may not be able to do it. So we're going to have a discussion and see how it goes. But I hope to be able to do that again. And that's where you can come out on the town green and do a workout with us.
Totally.
free of charge. It's open to everybody.
That's great. Okay. Yeah. I'll remind me. Don't remind me. Yeah. I'll have to write it down.
Yeah. But that may not even happen. I mean, we'll have to see if right. Because I think they're going to have to decide, like, can we gather, or maybe I'll do it. I'll be there. It'll be online and it'll be free, but it'll be online. That would be fun too. Not as fun as having the people there, but I could still do it and just say totally. Like, here I am on the Vienna Town Green. You can join me. You can join me online because you can't be here in person. Maybe by this summer, if we all social distancing, we might be able to do like a workout if everybody's spread out because the Vienna, the town green's pretty big. So It's not like there's enough space. So maybe we'll be able to get to do it again. No, but I
Yeah.
do appreciate you asking me and letting me talk about grassroots fitness and who I am, and I look forward to seeing the clip.
Thank you so much, Joanne. I really appreciate your time and just sharing your story and everything that you're doing for the community. Just thank you so much for sharing today, and best of luck. And we hope to see you out there on the town green, whether it's virtually or in person. We're really looking forward to that. So thank you.
That'd be awesome. Thanks so much, Kevin. It's so nice to meet you and get to talk to you today. Thanks.
All right,
Take
bye.
care. Bye.